The hospital corridor was unnaturally quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy like it's holding its breath. Machines beeped faintly behind closed doors. Nurses moved swiftly yet softly, and the smell of antiseptic lingered in the air. At the end of the hallway stood a man who owned half the skyline of the city, a man whose name alone could shift markets and move governments. Yet in that moment, he looked like nothing more than a helpless father. His daughter lay inside the room, fragile and fading. She was only 12. 12 years of laughter, of bedtime stories, of tiny hands wrapped around his fingers. 12 years that had passed too quickly, now reduced to a cruel countdown ticking away on a digital monitor. The doctors had said there was nothing more they could do. 12 hours, maybe less. That was all the time she had left for a man who could buy anything, fix anything, control anything. This was the one thing he couldn't change, or so everyone thought. He stood there staring through the glass window. His daughter's face looked pale against the white pillow, her breathing shallow, her body still. Tubes and wires surrounded her, connecting her to machines that were doing their best to keep her alive. But everyone knew it wasn't enough. Inside, a nurse gently adjusted the blanket over her small body. Another checked the IV line. They worked with quiet professionalism, but there was sadness in their eyes. They had seen this before, too many times. The billionaire clenched his fists. Money had built empires for him. It had turned dreams into reality. It had given him power, influence, and respect. But standing here, none of it mattered. None of it could save the one person who meant everything to him. He remembered the first time she called him Papa, the way she would run into his arms after school, the nights she refused to sleep without hearing a story, the promises he made to always protect her, promises he was about to break. A doctor approached him, his expression careful but firm. He had already explained the situation multiple times, but the father kept looking at him as if waiting for a different answer. "I'm sorry," the doctor said quietly. "We've tried everything. Her condition is too advanced. We can only make her comfortable now." Comfortable. The word felt like a knife. The father nodded slowly, but his eyes never left the room. "There has to be something," he said, his voice low but desperate. "Anything. Experimental treatment, new technology, specialists. Bring them from anywhere. I'll pay whatever it takes." The doctor hesitated. He had heard this before, too. Families clinging to hope when there was none. "It's not about money," he replied gently. "Sometimes we just don't have the answers." The father looked down at his trembling hands. For the first time in his life, he felt completely powerless. Hours passed. The sun began to set, casting long shadows through the hospital windows. The countdown continued. 12 hours became 10. 10 became 8. Each passing minute tightened the knot in his chest. Relatives had arrived, quietly sitting in the waiting area. Some prayed. Others cried softly. No one dared to say the words out loud, but everyone knew what was coming. Inside, the room. The little girl stirred. Her eyes fluttered open weakly, searching. The nurse noticed immediately and stepped closer. "Sweetheart," she said softly. "Can you hear me?" The girl's lips moved, barely forming a sound. "Papa!" The nurse quickly stepped out and called for him. The father rushed in, his heart pounding. When he saw her eyes open, even just a little, something inside him shattered and healed at the same time. "I'm here," he said, kneeling beside the bed, taking her small hand in his. "I'm right here." Her grip was weak, but she held on. "Papa," she whispered again, her voice fragile like a thread about to snap. "Am I going to die?" The question hit him harder than anything else. For a moment, he couldn't speak. This was the moment every parent fears, the moment when truth and hope collide, and you don't know which one to choose. Tears filled his eyes, but he forced a smile. No, he said softly, squeezing her hand. "You're not going anywhere. I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you." She looked at him, as if trying to believe him. Children have a way of seeing through lies, but they also have a way of holding on to hope. "Promise?" she asked. His voice broke. "I promise." The machines continued their steady beeping, marking time that was slipping away faster than anyone wanted to admit. Outside the room, the doctor watched quietly.